He couldn't move. He couldn't speak without a machine. But his mind changed the universe. These are the words of Stephen Hawking. However difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Life would be tragic if it weren't funny. We are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. But we can understand the universe. That makes us something very special. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. Look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see, and wonder about what makes the universe exist. We are all different. There is no such thing as a standard or run-of-the-mill human being, but we share the same human spirit. I have noticed even people who claim everything is predestined, and that we can do nothing to change it, look before they cross the road. My goal is simple. It is a complete understanding of the universe, why it is as it is and why it exists at all. When one's expectations are reduced to zero, one really appreciates everything one does have. People won't have time for you if you are always angry or complaining. My advice to other disabled people would be, concentrate on things your disability doesn't prevent you doing well, and don't regret the things it interferes with. Although I cannot move and I have to speak through a computer, in my mind I am free. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm in no hurry to die. I have so much I want to do first. Keeping an active mind has been vital to my survival, as has been maintaining a sense of humor. My expectations were reduced to zero when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bonus. I am just a child who has never grown up. I still keep asking these how and why questions. Work gives you meaning and purpose, and life is empty without it. I have so much I want to do. I hate wasting time. Science can lift people out of poverty and cure disease. That, in turn, will reduce civil unrest. Although I cannot move, in my mind I am free. I was never top of the class at school, but my classmates must have seen potential in me, because my nickname was Einstein. Without imperfection, neither you nor I would exist. I think the brain is essentially a computer, and consciousness is like a computer program. The whole history of science has been the gradual realization that events do not happen in an arbitrary manner. We are all time travelers journeying together into the future. I want to know why the universe exists, why there is something greater than nothing. The past is fixed, but the future is still open. Science is not only a disciple of reason but, also, one of romance and passion. We are in danger of destroying ourselves by our greed and stupidity. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Quiet people have the loudest minds. I have lived with the prospect of an early death for the last 49 years. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm in no hurry to die. To confine our attention to terrestrial matters would be to limit the human spirit. Only the universe knows everything. That is why I study it. If time travel is possible, where are the tourists from the future? Time travel used to be thought of as just science fiction, but Einstein's general theory of relativity allows the possibility that we could warp space-time. We are running out of space, and the only places to go to are other worlds. It is no good getting furious if you get stuck. What I do is keep thinking about the problem but work on something else. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. There is no heaven or afterlife for broken-down computers. That is a fairy story for people afraid of the dark. God may exist, but science can explain the universe without the need for a creator. Science is beautiful when it makes simple explanations of phenomena or connections between different observations. My disabilities have not been a significant handicap in my field, which is theoretical physics. I have always tried to overcome the limitations of my condition and lead as full a life as possible. I think those who have a terminal illness and are in great pain should have the right to choose to end their own lives. Exploration by real people inspires us. Mankind's greatest achievements have come about by talking, and its greatest failures by not talking. To understand the universe is to understand ourselves. The real danger is not that computers will begin to think like men, but that men will begin to think like computers. A person's worth is measured not by their physical body but by their mind. It is a waste of time to be angry about my disability. One has to get on with life, and I haven't done badly. I think we have a good chance of surviving long enough to colonize the solar system. We should be exploring the cosmos with humans, not just robots. Curiosity is the spark that lights the fire of discovery. Never stop asking questions. The universe rewards the curious. Disability need not be an obstacle to success. My illness has taught me more about life than anything else. Every moment matters. Every second of life is precious. I am the living proof that the human spirit can transcend any limitation. My body may be confined to a chair, but my mind travels freely across the entire cosmos. The best gift the universe ever gave us was the ability to wonder. We are incredibly lucky to be alive at this moment in history. Science is the language of the universe, and I have dedicated my life to learning it. Every black hole is a mystery. So is every human heart. I think the universe is the most beautiful thing that has ever existed. Wonder is the beginning of all science and all wisdom. I owe everything to those who never stopped believing in me. The human brain is the most complex thing in the known universe. Use it. There are no limits to what the mind can achieve. Every problem has a solution if you are willing to think hard enough. The universe is full of answers. We just have to ask the right questions. Failure is just the universe's way of pointing you in a new direction. The most important thing in life is to keep moving forward. I have learned more from my mistakes than from my successes. Don't just look at the world. Try to understand it. Be brave enough to be curious. Every equation is a doorway to understanding. The key to everything is patience. You get the chicken by hatching the egg, not by smashing it. I try to lead as normal a life as possible and not think about my condition or regret the things it prevents me from doing. I have lots of hopes and dreams, even now, perhaps especially now. I am not at all bitter. I've had a very good life. I want to encourage people with disabilities to push against their limitations. I am very aware of the preciousness of time. Seize the moment. Act now. The greatest gift you can give yourself is curiosity. There is no experience like experiencing the universe with your own mind. I think we should explore beyond this planet. Our future depends on it. Being alive is the most extraordinary thing in the universe. My work and my family are the two great joys of my life. Time is the canvas on which we paint the story of our existence. Even the darkest black hole eventually radiates. There is always light. Nothing is truly impossible if the human mind is applied to it. The universe rewards those who ask bold questions. Great science begins with great imagination. I believe in the future of humanity, despite everything. Knowledge is the light that darkness cannot extinguish. I was diagnosed with a terminal illness at 21. I decided not to die on schedule. The whole point of science is to understand things other people haven't understood yet. Be persistent. The universe is patient, but it rewards those who keep trying. Every child should be taught to look up at the sky and wonder. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. I am lucky to be here. Every day I am grateful. The brain is the most wonderful organ. It never stops working. Limitations are not obstacles. They are invitations to innovate. I learned early that life is not fair, so I decided to change the odds. The human spirit has always managed to rise above the worst circumstances. We are all made of stars. Never forget that. I have never let my disability define who I am. The universe does not play favorites. It rewards hard work and curiosity equally. Every second you are alive is a second you can use to do something extraordinary. I have spent my life searching for the answer to one question: why does the universe exist? We are the universe becoming aware of itself. The more I study the universe, the more I am in awe of it. There are no shortcuts in science, only hard work and honesty. I believe that the human race will one day live among the stars. My life has been a constant surprise. I never expected to be here, talking to you. The greatest lesson my illness taught me is to never waste a moment. Science is the key to our future, and if you don't believe in science, then you're holding everybody back. We live in the most extraordinary universe. That alone should be enough to inspire us. I have always believed that the mind has no limits if you refuse to accept any. Even when I couldn't speak, I was thinking. The mind never stops. Every star in the sky is someone's sun. Think about that. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. That is the beginning of wisdom. I believe the universe is the most complex and beautiful thing in existence, and we are part of it. Be curious, be humble, be brave. Those are the 3 rules of science and life. My greatest achievement is not any scientific discovery. It is that I never gave up. We are all travelers on this journey called life. Make it count. Every limitation you overcome makes you stronger than you were before. The universe gave me a broken body. I gave it back an unbroken mind. The question is not whether we will survive as a species. The question is whether we will deserve to. We must continue to go into space for the future of humanity. Look at the stars. They have been here longer than any of our problems. The most valuable thing in the universe is an open mind. Even a man who cannot move can change the world with his thoughts. Dreams are the blueprints of the future. Never stop dreaming. I have found that the greatest joy comes from understanding something no one else has understood before. The universe is what it is. Our job is to understand it. Whatever life throws at you, keep your mind working. That is all you need. Every generation has the responsibility to make the world a little better than they found it. Optimism is the oxygen of progress. I believe the universe is on our side, if only we are brave enough to explore it. We have this one life to shape ourselves into something truly extraordinary. Science and love are the 2 greatest forces in the universe. The path to discovery is paved with questions, not answers. Even the universe had a beginning, and beginnings are always full of possibility. I chose to live. Every day I make that choice again. The greatest act of courage is to keep thinking when everything around you is falling apart. We are all explorers in this vast and mysterious universe. Never lose that sense of adventure. My life's work has been to ask the universe its deepest questions. Keep going. The universe has no stop button. The only real failure is giving up on your curiosity. Every equation I solve is a small victory for the human mind over the unknown. I have always believed that the future is full of hope, even when the present is full of pain. Never be afraid of what you don't know. That's where discovery lives. The universe is too beautiful and too complex to be understood by anyone alone. That is why we need each other. The most human thing we can do is keep asking why. I am proof that the human will is stronger than any disease. If I can do it, anyone can. That is my message to the world. The greatest adventure of all is the adventure of understanding. I have dedicated my life to the most beautiful mystery in existence, the universe itself. Time is irreversible, but hope is renewable. The human mind has no ceiling if it refuses to accept one. Every day I wake up is a day I was not supposed to have. I do not waste a single one. The universe does not owe us an explanation, but we owe it our best efforts to understand. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is thinking in spite of it. I believe knowledge is the greatest weapon against ignorance and despair. The stars do not care about our problems, but they light our way nonetheless. A lifetime of curiosity is worth more than a lifetime of certainty. We did not come this far as a species by giving up. We came here by pushing forward. Every human being deserves to know why they are here. That is what science tries to answer. I think about the big questions every day. They keep me going. The universe has no obligation to make sense to you, but it rewards those who try. Weakness is not in the body. It is in the decision to stop trying. I have seen the face of the universe, and it is magnificent. No matter how dark it gets, remember, even black holes eventually give off light. The greatest human achievement is the refusal to accept defeat. I have always looked forward. Looking back is a luxury I cannot afford. Progress is not possible without change. Change is not possible without courage. Every mind that dares to ask a question is a light in the darkness. I think about death rarely, because I am too busy thinking about life. The most extraordinary thing about the universe is that it allows us to exist within it. Never let the noise of the world drown out the voice of your own curiosity. Science is the most powerful tool for improving human life ever invented. A curious mind is the most revolutionary thing in the universe. The universe began from nothing and became everything. So can you. I think the ultimate fate of humanity depends on science. We must invest in it. There is always more to know. That is what makes life beautiful. I believe the human soul, whatever it is not destroyed by illness or pain. Even a totally paralyzed person can have a rich inner life. Do not pity us. The measure of a life is not its length but its depth. Every thought I have is a small victory over silence. I have always chosen understanding over comfort. The universe speaks in the language of mathematics. I have spent my life learning to listen. The best teachers in life are problems that seem unsolvable. I do not think human beings are alone in the universe. The universe is too vast for that. Wonder is not childish. It is the highest state of intelligence. I believe that knowledge shared is knowledge doubled. The most dangerous thing in the world is a closed mind. Every question answered opens 10 new questions. That is the beauty of science. I am not afraid of the unknown. The unknown is where discovery lives. Life is short, questions are endless, and curiosity is eternal. The human brain is the most powerful object in the known universe. Respect it. I never stopped believing that I had something important to contribute. That belief saved me. Science has no agenda except the truth. That is why I trust it. Even in my darkest moments, I believed tomorrow would be better. It usually was. The universe is ancient and vast. We are young and small. Yet here we are, asking questions. That is extraordinary. I believe in the power of the human mind to solve any problem it takes seriously. My disease slowed me down. It never stopped me. The stars we see tonight are the light of suns that may no longer exist. Even light travels through time. I have been lucky, but I made the most of my luck. Every day that I am alive is a day that I can still think, and thinking is everything. The greatest gift any teacher can give a student is the courage to ask questions. I grew up wanting to understand the universe. I still do. I always will. The human will to survive and understand is the most beautiful thing in existence. And in the end, the love we give to knowledge is the love that gives us back our freedom. Not only does God play dice, but he sometimes confuses us by throwing them where they can't be seen. We think we have solved the mystery of creation. Maybe we should patent the universe and charge everyone royalties for their existence. The thing about smart people is that they seem like crazy people to dumb people. What was God doing before the divine creation? Was he preparing hell for people who ask such questions? Science could predict that the universe would arise from nothing. There is a fundamental difference between religion, which is based on authority, and science, which is based on observation and reason. It surprises me how disinterested we are today about things like physics, space, the universe, and philosophy of our existence. I believe alien life is quite common in the universe, although intelligent life is less so. If we discover a complete theory of everything, it should in time be understandable in broad principle by everyone, not just a few scientists. I believe everyone should have a broad picture of how the universe operates and our place in it. It is a basic human desire. I think computer viruses should count as life. I think it says something about human nature that the only form of life we have created so far is purely destructive. Time is the one thing we all have in common and the one thing no one can give us more of. Next time someone complains that you have made a mistake, tell him that may be a good thing. Because without imperfection, neither you nor I would exist. Women, they are a complete mystery. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. The fact that no one understands you doesn't make you an artist. Even if it turns out that time travel is impossible, it is important that we understand why it is impossible. We each exist for but a short time, and in that time explore but a small part of the whole universe. Before we understand science, it is natural to believe that God created the universe. But now science offers a more convincing explanation. The universe has no outside edge and no place called the center. I think the universe was spontaneously created out of nothing, according to the laws of science. It is no good getting furious if you get stuck. What I do is keep thinking about the problem but work on something else. I rely on my colleagues, friends, and family to keep my life going. I want my work to be of use to people, especially those with motor neuron disease. We should seek the greatest value of our action. 1. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. 2. Never give up work. 3. If you are lucky enough to find love, remember it is there and don't throw it away. Science is beautiful when it makes simple explanations of phenomena or connections between different observations. The human capacity for guilt is such that people can always find ways to blame themselves. There's nothing bigger or older than the universe. God is the name people give to the reason we are here. The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. I have been driven many times to my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. God must love the common man. He made so many of them. I am in favor of short statutes of limitations in all cases. The better part of one's life consists of his friendships. I believe in democracy because it releases the energies of every human being. I don't know who my grandfather was. I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. Perhaps a man's character was like a tree, and his reputation like its shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. I will study and get ready, and perhaps my chance will come. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I see in the near future a crisis approaching that unnerves me and causes me to tremble for the safety of my country. Nothing in this world is impossible to a willing heart. I am accused of being glad when I win, but you are accusing me of a trait of character which I hope you all have. Truth is rarely pure and never simple. One man with courage makes a majority. Commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. It is the words that speak boldly of your intentions. Even in the most difficult moments of my life, I found a reason to keep going. The universe is ancient and indifferent, but the human mind is young and determined. My mind has always been my home. I have never been homeless. Science is not a belief system. It is a method for finding truth. I am grateful for every breath, every thought, every moment of consciousness. The best revenge against the hardships of life is a life well lived. We are not the center of the universe, but we are the part of the universe that wonders about itself. Every discovery I made began with a question I could not ignore. The greatest mistake a person can make is to stop being curious. I think there is something deeply special about a species that looks up at the sky and wonders. I have always found that the harder the question, the more rewarding the answer. The universe does not apologize for its complexity. Neither do I. My wheelchair did not confine me. My imagination set me free. The human desire to understand is the most hopeful thing about our species. I believe that science will one day answer every question we can ask. There is no problem so great that the human mind cannot eventually solve it. Life is too short to waste on small questions. Ask the biggest ones you can. I live by a very simple philosophy: never give up. I believe the only truly unforgivable sin is to stop learning. The day I stop asking questions is the day I stop living. Every generation inherits the questions of the previous one and adds its own. That is how science grows. The universe is indifferent, but we do not have to be. I choose hope. Every single day, I choose hope. The mind that asks questions is the mind that changes the world. I am proof that a life can be extraordinary even when the body is not. Never let what you cannot do stop you from doing what you can. The universe is vast enough to hold all of our dreams. My life is a testament to what the human spirit can endure and achieve. Every second I have had beyond my diagnosis has been a gift I do not take lightly. Gravity explains the motions of the planets, but it cannot explain who set the planets in motion. The universe is not required to conform to what we think is sensible. I look at my own life and I see a story of survival, discovery, and endless curiosity. If the universe is really completely self-contained, having no boundary or edge, It would have neither beginning nor end. It would simply be. The universe is not cruel, not kind. It simply is. Our job is to make something of it. I have spent my whole life trying to understand the universe, and the more I learn, the more magnificent it becomes. Which Stephen Hawking quote hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share, because great wisdom deserves to be heard. See you next time.